Good morning, Internet friends. This is Tim Schrock from Design Build Solutions bringing you today's Tech Tip Tuesday. Today's tip comes as a question from a subscriber. Tony Jackson says, do you have any videos talking about plumbing plans? I didn't see any and I can't seem to get the lines to print to the correct scale, so the line designation like H for hot or C for cold print properly. It's all large and overscaled. Any ideas? So Tony, this one's for you. For the rest of you, I hope this works as informative as well. I've actually got a sample here that I've created for to draw, if you will, the wire mesh that goes in concrete. So there's a long dash, space, an X, so that the mesh that crosses, you see the wire that's going this way, and then you see the X going in and out of the slab, etc. I created this as a line type, and actually as we go through this I'll show you how I did it, and I'll upload this as an option for you for a free download. But we'll go through the plumbing as well, H and C, and we'll tear those apart as well. Let's open up this line, and you can see I've actually here in my user catalog, it's steel mesh, and in a second we'll make steel mesh large, medium, and small, so you can see that. I'm also going to come over here, let's zoom in on our library here, and line styles. You can do this with really any library object, particularly in the core catalogs, because in the core catalogs we cannot edit or change any of the functions of the objects in that core catalog. So I'm going to select cold water supply large, medium, and small by shifting and clicking on all three. I'm going to right click and copy, and in my user catalog we're going to make a right click and new folder for line styles. We'll call it Tim's Line Styles. I'm going to right click on the folder and paste. So we have cold water large, medium, and small. And then I'm going to come down here and try to find steel. Where's my steel mesh? There we go. Let's cut that one and let's put that up here in the right folder. Paste. Now I'm going to rename this. We'll call this one large. There we go. I'm going to copy and paste it. We'll rename this medium and paste one more. Small. Okay. Let's look at the ones that the cold water supply that we pasted from the original core libraries. I'm going to open this object, and you'll see how the line style specification dialog box opens up, and it's actually formed by a dash with properties, text with properties, and another dash with properties. Okay. So and you can add more dashes, dots, text, etc. to it. We can reorder it so that it, looks like this, and this is the section that we're going to actually see. You can see the hidden vertical lines, the gray dashed lines, kind of shows this is a section. From here to here is one section, and that's what we're creating. And so they've created 3.5 sections in this window so that we can see how it's going to look as it's drawn out. All right, So the dash is 1/2 inch dash and then a spacing of 1/4 inch. We've got text that's shown as a length. We want the length, they've shown the length of 7/16 of an inch and spacing of 3/16 of an inch. And the text is C space / space W. And then the text height is 1/8 of an inch. All right. So then the dash, the second dash is 1/2 inch, spacing of 0, so that we start with, so that there's no space between. If we added a space, let's see what that would look like. So you'd have 1/2 inch. So we've got 1/2 inch for this piece, 7/16 of an inch for the text, and then 3/4 of an inch, if you will, 3/4 of an inch, 7/16, 3/4 of an inch. No, that would also be 3/4 of an inch, because 7/16 plus 3/16 is 10/16. So that's no, that's actually 5/8. There we go. Whew, a lot of math, right? Who needs that? We don't want that 1/4 inch spacing. That's what it boils down to, right? So that's the cold water supply, large. And mainly, notice the text height is 1/8 of an inch. If we right-click on the medium and open this object, the text height is 3/32. And let's open the object of the small. The text height is 1/16. So that's how we're going to do this with the, and notice the spacing is a little different as well. The length and spacings are different with the smaller versus the larger. All right, so what I did was, you'll see, open object. I made a 7/16 length dash and a spacing of 1/8 of an inch. And then the text is a small x, text height 3/32, length is 1/16, spacing is 1/8. After that, okay, a dash, a text, a dash, a text. That's all I wanted to do. So there's another dash and another text, another dash, another text, etc. All right, so on the medium, let's do the large one. Let's do that as dash a text. Let's go 1/2, 3/16. The text is going to be 1/8, 3/16. The x will be 1/8 height. The medium will leave where it was, and then the small will get a little smaller. Let's open that object. So let's go, length is 3/8, spacing is fine at 1/8. We'll do the text 3/32, and the text height we're going to say is 1/8. Not 1/8. What was it? Sorry, I forgot. So let's go back. Length is 3/8. Spacing is 1/8. That's fine. The text, we're going to say this is small, so the spacing is 3/32. Height, let's say 1/16. There we go. You can also create a new line type. I'm going to right click on my Tim's Line Styles folder and new line style. Okay, so we could call this Tim's Test. We can add some dashes, we can add some dots, we can add some text. Let's add another dot in there. We want 3 dots. Let's add another dash. And after the text, let's add some dots. So we'll have text 2 dots, dash 3 dots, text 3 dots. There we go. Text 3 dots, dash 3 dots, dash, text 3 dots. Let's remove that one. you can play around with it, right? We'll add that. You can come back, open the object, remove it. Now, as far as Tony's question, I don't know. There's line styles in here, plumbing. I've got cold water supply, large, medium, and small, and hot water supply, large, medium, small. If I don't know exactly what your libraries look like, Tony, if you only have one of these, you can copy and paste them into your user library and see what the object's properties are, and then make a copy of it or change it to be smaller and give that different properties as we did here today. So I would check and see if you have large, medium, and small. If you don't, copy that line type, line style down to your user library and change it so that it has that has the smaller properties that scale. Here's I've never played with. That's an interesting idea. I've never played with looking at the height, looking at a line style. Because when you zoom in the model, yeah, it just gets smaller and smaller. It doesn't really scale properly. So it might have to be a trial and error case when you print something. I'll try to look further into that, but at this point I don't know about the actually printing to a correct scale. It's going to have to be trial and error and bump those properties down a little bit smaller to get it to print properly. I hope this has been helpful. If you've enjoyed or learned something new, I would appreciate the encouragement of a thumbs up. As always, subscribe right down there and hit the notification bell so that you get informed when I drop these videos each week. Check out my website, www.designbuildsolutions, for sample projects and example renderings and stuff that I help homeowners, contractors, and designers alike. As always, have a wonderful week. Thanks for watching.